بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، وأفضل الصلاة وأتم التسليم على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما. اللهم لا سهل إلا ما جعلته سهلا وأنت تجعل الحزن إذا شئت سهلا. سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم. لله تبارك وتعالى. I praise Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. I thank Him Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. I ask Him to send countless blessings and salutations upon the Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, his family, his companions, and all those who follow them in excellence until the day of judgment. And I ask Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala to grant us the sincere intention. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. I hope all of you are doing well. And I pray that Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala makes this day a day of obedience, a day of drawing close to Him Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, and a day of increasing in rewards and status and rank with Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, and protection from the sins and those who contradict the path of Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. May Allah protect us from that. I wanted to have some brief, long reflections from last night's Black Imam Roundtable. I say brief because that's what I would like it to be, but I know myself, it may end up being long. So I say brief, long reflections. I was thinking about our roundtable last night, and many points came to my mind that I wanted to focus in on. Because we often, especially on the Black Imams Roundtable, we talk about our concerns, our obstacles, and sometimes problems within our Black Muslim communities. And there's always the answer, what is the way out? What is the solution? And sometimes people want to hear, just give me the solution. You know, sometimes knowing the solution is not sufficient. Because you can know a solution, you can know the cure of a disease, but if you don't understand the disease itself, you won't take the cure serious. I want to repeat that. You can know the cure. You could have the medication. You can know the problem. You can have the solution and all the tools to do the solution. But if you don't understand the seriousness of the disease or the problem and how you got that disease or that problem, even with the cure and even with the solution, you're not going to take that serious. I'll give you an example. And this is an example that really frustrates me. Our community here at Masjid Muhammad is large in numbers, I'm talking about. Those who attend are in the hundreds, and those who say that's my masjid may be in the thousand. So those who attend regularly are in the hundreds. Like every Jumu'ah they're here, every Eids, hundreds. Sometimes you could go into 1,000. I'm talking about my own community, right? And we have a bunch of people, if I count, that's my masjid, that never come. But we got a bunch of them too. So let's give them, it is your masjid. MashaAllah, barakallahu bikum. Right? But and they all know the challenges of money, running and upkeeping and maintaining Masjid Muhammad. They're quick to say, it's my masjid. But in terms of actually doing what it takes to maintain, to grow, to build, expand, educate, finance, even though they know what needs to be done, because too many of us don't understand the seriousness of it, the importance of it, we don't do it. We don't do it. I like to use my own self so no one else gets offended, because people get offended. But I can speak about myself. I can speak about my own reality, and that's reality because I live it. Right? If I talk about others, others get offended. Who's stepping on my toes? If I talk about myself and my community, then you can't get offended. You're not in it, so why are you offended? I live it, right? So I'll give you an example. And keep this as only an analogy, but I'm highlighting something so I can go to what I was talking about on the Black Imams Roundtable, which is bigger. As the Imam, we have a lot of people, I mentioned it. But as the Imam, I have to also come in, be the janitor, be security, be accountant, be, you name it, with people here who's supposed to do those jobs. But because of not understanding how important it is, that's the solution. You do your job. It don't get done. Or it gets done in an inferior manner. This is a problem that we have in our communities. But I won't say every, let me say something before I go on with this. Whenever you speak, you're speaking, when you say like every, all, that's the majority, most of Black imams. That doesn't mean every single imam. But most Black imams can identify what I just said. And if you look in the comments, I'm quite sure there's some Black imams. Is this not something you yourself see in your own community? I'm talking about black imams. It's not that you didn't explain. It's not that they don't know. It's not that they don't even understand, but they don't see the significance, and hence, even though you have the solution, even though you have the cure, the problem still remains. This is a challenge. So sometimes just talking about the solution alone is not enough. Do y'all understand my point? Because I'm going to the bigger picture. I use that just to give you an example. Are y'all with me? Y'all follow me? Because these are my scattered thoughts about this subject. So when we're talking about the bigger picture, us as a community, I'm going to give you some solutions to all of our problems. I'm going to try to make them brief. Y'all ready? Count them for me. Number one, we need to properly learn our religion in a classical, authentic, Sunni, according to a classical, authentic Sunni methodology. That's number one. We need to learn our religion. And all of the Islamic sciences, that's a part of our religion. So when I say learn our religion, we need to learn all the Islamic sciences in our community. We need to learn them in a classical, authentic methodology. That's number one. And that is not even being accomplished. That's number one. Y'all help me out. Because someone put up number one so I don't lose my thought, because these are scattered thoughts. That's number one. Number two, we must realize that we are a nation of people, and it is our responsibility to take care of our matters. We must realize, let me add that, we are an independent nation of people, and it is our responsibility to take care of our matters. We need to understand that. That's number two. That's a solution. Somebody put up number two so I can follow my thing. Number three, we need to sacrifice with our money and our bodies and talents to learn our religion and build our nation. That's number three. We need to sacrifice our money, our body, our talents to build our nation and learn the knowledge of the religion. So learning the knowledge of the religion, we said first, and then building our nation, our independent nation. We need our money and our bodies to do that. And it needs to be a sacrifice. Highlight sacrifice. Because we really don't like that word. We want to do what we want to do, not what we need to do, what we want to do. And we need to do what we need to do and sacrifice to do that. But we don't like that at all. Sacrifice, what's that? We don't like that much. Sacrifice. No. Sacrifice entails giving more of your wealth and yourself than you actually have. That's called sacrifice. Giving more than you actually have is called sacrifice. It's very important. Those three things, because somebody said, what's the solution? That's the solution. Now, are we going to do it? I have more. I just want to work on those three so it don't go too long. So let me go to 1, 2, and 3. Let me go back. All right. So the first one is properly learning our religion. Hence, if we don't learn Islam properly and understand it well, we're never going to sacrifice for something we don't understand. It's not going to happen. So I want to put sacrifice as a overwhelming theme of everything I'm talking about. So some people may see us like some have made videos of us and talk about us, and they're always talking about certain groups and blah, 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 that stuff. But you know why we do that? Because of number one. If we have an improper understanding of Islam, that is our way out of most of our problems. We have to learn our deen. And we have to do that. As long as we keep going to others in every situation, for everything, whether small or great, in terms of religious knowledge, we will be a slave nation of people. Do we understand that? As long as the other man is your teacher all the time for everything, you never become an independent nation. You will be a servant nation all the time, forever. You, your children, your grandchildren, your great-grandchildren will be servants of others all the time, not cooperating with others for the betterment of the ummah, serving others for the betterment of others who are working with others for the betterment of the ummah. Y'all got that? Let me repeat, because I know sometimes I get passionate and I sound loud, and some people, they turn their ears off. He's too loud. He's too aggressive. I'm not aggressive. Maybe a little loud, but I'm not aggressive. So long as for everything religiously, in knowledge, terms of knowledge, whether small or great, if we always going to someone else and relying on someone else to tell us how to practice our religion, we will become a servant nation to that person and their people. And if we do that, we will never be cooperating with the ummah. We will be serving a segment of the ummah who are the actual ones cooperating with the ummah. Do y'all understand that very well? Because that's what's been happening to us. In other words, we would go learn, and we're the only people who do this. We would go learn, study for years, come back and ask the same questions that the teachers that taught us for us to answer to our people. No one does that but us. No matter how long you study, you will always be a student of knowledge. No matter who you are, it doesn't make a difference. And you will always bow your head and say, I'm not qualified. And by that, you're not respected by your people or the ones who trained you. No one respects you. Hence, you just can serve. That's it. And I'll never forget this lesson because my teacher said it to me. He said, don't bring me to America to do what you can do yourself. And I know what you can do. Don't bring me to do something you can do. If there is something you can do, then I should help you till you learn it, and then you do it. These are your people. Exact words. Well, a little meaning because they weren't exactly like that. The meaning is there. So, for instance, this is what we start, and I wrestle with it. We learn books. We learn them. Hadith, tafsir, fiqh, aqidah, tasawwuf, seerah, name it. We learned a lot of stuff over the years. But we'll bring the teacher to teach the same book we learned. Why? Because in our mind, our people are not going to listen unless he say it. And guess what? Our people are like that. I want to see the sheikh. That is your sheikh. He's your people. He learned, he studied. That's your sheikh. No, I want the real sheikh. And guess what? Sometimes we are more capable in expressing the idea than that sheikh they're looking for. If you sat and loved your people enough and were humble enough, he probably could teach you that lesson better than the sheikh. Number one, he knows your language, he knows your culture, he knows your way of speech, he knows all those things. So he knows how to convey that information in a way that it sticks with you. The sheikh don't know all that. The sheikh knows the information, he don't know you. But that's how we are. And if we be honest, let's be honest, especially you fake students of knowledge, because that's not a real student of knowledge. When I said fake, I meant it. Fake students of knowledge. You only want to learn from the sheikhs, the scholars. That's not a student of knowledge. A student of knowledge learn from those above them in knowledge, those equal to them in knowledge, and those less than them in knowledge. That's a true seeker. So the one who's like, I just want to be with the sheikh. You fake. That's why you want to be with the sheikh. You don't want to learn. You want the sheikh. You want to be servant to other than Allah. Let's be honest. How many of us, to be honest, know that's our state? Be honest. I know it because I see when the sheikh is here, you hear. When anybody else is here, we don't see you. And they teaching knowledge, the same stuff that they learned from the sheikh, but you won't come. But if it's the sheikh, front and center, I want an ijazah. He has an ijazah too. He can give you ijazah. Why you only need ijazah from him? Explain. If it's about, and even if you don't get ijazah, why you not just for the knowledge? That's us. Let's be honest. Be honest with ourselves. We know it, and we see it, and we've been living it. You know what Sheikh said? Even the Sheikh, he was here. He said, I don't like mask. Take off your mask. The Sheikh said that. Sheikh Samir, he said it. He said, I don't like mask. Take off your mask. Come to me as you are. Let me see the real you. Stop showing me this mask. That's us. We have a mask. I was watching a person. I wanted to smack him. I swear I did. He was sitting under this person who was not a sheikh, like a kid. And that kid, that person doesn't have half the knowledge and skill set of his own people, but he would never sit to his people like that. I wanted to pop him. I swear I did. I'm like, you joker. Right, right. Because this, he's the real sheikh. He doesn't even have the knowledge of the most of your brothers around you. Come on, bro. No, seriously. That's how we be. I see it all the time because I've accompanied the sheikh for years, and I see that, and I see it all the time. So I know it's true. It's not like something I'm making up. I see it. I observe it. I've observed it for decades, watching people do that. So our seeking knowledge must be sincere for Allah. Right? We have to be sincere for Allah. And that's a challenge because we've already been taught in our speech, we say the white man's ice is colder. We have that mindset. So if the brother's doing it, it ain't the same. Yeah, why not? He learned it. He learned it. He understands it. He's reading in Arabic. He's translating. He done everything you want. Why is not sufficient? It's the same knowledge. Nah, but really, I was the white man, Mr. Charlie, or Mr. Charlie's cousin. Got to be him. And I want to say something while I'm mentioning this, because I know all of our listening audience and all of our supporters are not African American. I understand that. But I want to say something to them, whom I love. We have serious things we need to overcome. That doesn't negate other people's issues. I could talk about that too, but I'm not. I'm talking about us because I got to be concerned about our situation. Before I can help you, I can't even help myself. I have to help myself, right? But these are issues, and the solution has to be an extreme opposition of that custom and practice that we have. So where normally you don't have to be so hard about it, but because it's such an issue, you got to go to the extreme opposite to stop it. So when I say that, it's not just a black thing. That's what they did to get us to stop thinking Jesus was a white man. They had to make black pictures to get people to be like, just to be like, whoa, he's white. How could Jesus be white? Nah, he had to do that. That's why people's writing books about black companions and black prophets, and because these ideas have to be combated. Because for us, it has a lot of things when we start seeing others superior to us. What it will lead to is we'll never have black scholarship. Even if it exists, we will never accept it. Because really, to be a scholar, you can't be black. To be learned, you can't be black. That no one will say that. Their state will say that. I want to give you a word. We don't have this in English, and maybe we do. I just don't know the word for it. It's called lisan al-hal, which means your state speaks, the tongue of your state. That's a literal translation. You're not saying that, but you saying that clearly. You ain't said a word, but it's understood. That's called lisan al-hal. So that's number one. And we do have it. And I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to break the news to you. A lot of our teachers, African Americans, who are learned, who studied, they go to other communities or they don't put themselves out because they don't believe we're going to support them. Seriously. Let me tell you why. I've talked to them. I know them. I know a lot of them. They don't believe we're going to support. So the little they do in our communities is just for their own knowing. I gotta help my people a little bit, but I ain't gonna break myself for that because they'll destroy me. We have to change that state. They have to change the feeling, yes, but we have to change the reality because even though they have that feeling, it's not unjustified. Their experience tells them, listen, man, I had a person tell me that. So we got to help that by starting to love our people. I want to learn from our people. I don't have a problem with that. That doesn't mean I'm not going to learn from others. That doesn't mean I'm going to not respect others. But my priority to build up my people, I want my teachers to be my people. And everyone in the world does that. Y'all do realize that, right? Everywhere in the world, the main teachers in a given area look like them and are ethnically like them. Do y'all realize that? And that's a question. I'm not like just speaking. Do you realize that? That all around the world, wherever you go to study, the people of that area are the teachers. And there may be very small exceptions. No matter where you go in the world, when you go to learn the deen, the people that you're going to learn from are the people of that area, the teachers. If I go to Gambia, to Senegal, to Nigeria, I'm not going to have Arab teachers. I'm not. It's not going to happen. There's going to be Nigerians or Gambians or Senegalese. Not even just any African. It's going to be the people of that area. If I go to Egypt, I'm going to have Egyptian teachers. There may be here and there some very few, but the majority, the bulk of my teachers are going to be Egyptians. If I go to Saudi, the bulk of my teachers are going to be Saudi. If I go to Yemen, if I go to Syria, and I've been to all these places, that's going to be your teachers. There will always be someone who's, some rare, special person who's, they just can't deny him. So he got to have his seat. But here, you go to our communities, we will allow others to be the main attraction. And we would sit down. Oh, no. He got to lead the prayer. For what? Don't you know to pray? You pray 5 times a day. Why he got to lead the prayer? Come on. This is the fact. That has to change. That's the change. It has to be, it changed so much that it almost seemed like arrogance. That it almost seems like arrogance. That's how bad it has to change. No. It's not racism. It's fairness. It's not racism. It's fairness. No. I'll give you an example. I will never forget this. I grew up in a community. I'm talking about in my Islamic experience, where the majority of the people were Black. But the community was ran in the Black community by, I don't like this being, I don't want to be politically correct. I want the point to go across, by Arabs. And I remember they had schools, and the Arab kids were mixing with the Black kids. And when the Arab kids started to act like Black kids, meaning they was in the inner city, wearing their hats backwards, chilling, talking slang, those Arabs got those kids away from those Black kids so fast, right? They all in the school together, they studying together, right? Sent their kids back to their Arab lands and brought those kids back as the teachers of those same Black kids who they were hanging out with. And now those same Black kids, some of them who went to study, some of them went to learn, they're the inferior sheikh, and the other Arab kids are the superior sheikh over them. And they all grew up together. You hear what I said? It's a fact. I see with my own eyes, I could point it. That those kids who learned, who studied with the same kid running around with his hat backwards, pants sagging, and now he's your sheikh. And even the elders who watch this little kid, it's like the sheikh. Huh? I'm not talking about his dad. I'm talking about us. What about your kids? Remember the guy was running around with your kids with his hat backwards. Remember? Forgot? Do you remember that? I do. Very well. And now when you look, all the stuff you built, they're running. And you just in servant mode. And the cause of it is you don't got no knowledge. You don't have knowledge. So that's why I said number one, you have to learn. You don't have knowledge. That's the thing to keep you down. You don't have knowledge. And not only that, they're giving you an inferior product at that. They're giving you the knowledge, spoon feeding you, while they go learn and travel all around the world, study books, do stuff, get chains of narration. When they come to you, here you go, a little bit for you. So they will always be your master. No, this is true. I'm not making it up. It's true. It hurts. That's why I say something, because I know better. I know our potential, and I know what's being done. I know better. I'm experienced. I'm not speaking just, I don't know what I'm talking about. No, I do. And I can prove it over and over and over and over again. So that's number one. That's why I say number one. Because once you respect your, let me give you an example. The Somalians, specifically, the Africans in like Mali and Nigeria, when they went to the Arab world, they became, a lot of them, the sheikhs of the Arabs. Do you know that? they became the sheikhs of the Arabs because they themselves had a system and all their teachers were black, were Africans, were from Somali, were from Mali, were from Nigeria. Before they even went to the Arab world, they were already ready. And when they got to the Arab world, the Arabs was like, wow, how they do that? So what's the difference from them and us? They did it. To when they went to the Arab world, they were authorities. Well, what's wrong with us? They weren't originally Arabs. They wasn't originally learning Arabic. They didn't originally they took care of themselves. Why we can't do the same thing? Where's the crime in that? Tell me. They did it. When the Pakistanians and the Indians from the subcontinent, when they went to the Arab world, they were authorities, scholars, hadith scholars. Some of the biggest hadith scholars in the world are from the subcontinent. What's wrong with us? I want to ask a question. What's wrong with us? Why we can't do it? They converts just like we converts. Well, what's the problem? What's the problem? It's something we should ask. What's wrong with us? Why we can't do it? We can. Let me flip it. I want to tell this story. I'm going to move on quickly, and then I'm going to come back and tell the story. Remind me, I have a story about us in the streets. I got a story for us, black folks, in the street, in the dunya, out in the world, what we do. And I believe that needs to be a transferable skill to Islam. So put a pin in that, make sure I don't forget. Let me go to number 2. So number 1 is we have to learn our deen. You don't have to be the most knowledgeable person. You just have to understand. And we need to produce some real knowledgeable people. But you need to understand the system well. We talk like we talk because we know what we're talking about. I could prove it. I'm not talking out my neck. I can actually prove it. I actually know what I'm talking about. I can prove it over and over and over and over and over again. No problem. References, books, whatever you want to do, I'll show you. I can show you this point over and over, all around the world. I've seen it. I've experienced it. I've lived it. I know the actual players. I can express that. I do. Right? So I'm not just speaking like, man, I don't know what you're talking about. Yes, I do. I lived it. I can point it. I can show you over and over again, multiple times. That's one thing. Number 2, we must realize that we are an independent nation of people, and it is our responsibility to take care of our matters. I ain't asking nobody to feel sorry for us, and we shouldn't. What we should say is, why don't we feel sorry for us? Listen, man, it ain't your job to take care of my children. It's my job. If you help, alhamdulillah, I appreciate it. It's not your job to educate my children. It's my job. If you help, alhamdulillah. But it's not your responsibility. That's not your responsibility. That's our responsibility. So it's the same thing. If we go to the Western education system and we see inferior teaching in the school when it comes to black districts, that's our job to change that. Their design is to teach you inferior stuff. They don't want you to be in charge. You got to change that. You have to do that. Man, when it comes to the black schools, we get the worst books, the worst teachers. Well, that's your problem. Why don't you fix it? Of course, they're going to take care of themselves. That's the design. What you going to do about it? You got to take care of yourself. And if it ain't fair, you have to work harder. That's it. That's life. But you must do it. So everything we need, since we're an independent nation of people, we need to build. So we need our own doctors. We need our own engineers. We need our own lawyers. We need our own professionals. We need our own business people to support our nation like every other nation do. A young man came to me the other day. He came from another country in Africa. I don't mention the place, but he came from Africa. So he comes in the masjid. And he's like, I need to talk to the Imam. So I see him. I start talking to him. So I'm talking to him, and I realize the guy can't speak English. So I asked him, can you speak Arabic? He says, yes. So now we got a way to communicate because he doesn't understand English. So I don't know what he's talking about. But his main language is French. But he did learn Arabic in school from his people. He speaks French. That's his first language. But, or he might got his African languages, of course, but French is his outside communication language of communication. But I don't speak French. So I asked him, can you speak Arabic? He says, yes. So I said, now we got a means to talk because you know Arabic. We could just speak in Arabic, right? So he was smiling because he didn't expect a black person from his experience to be able to speak Arabic. He thought he was in trouble, right? So I said, nah, I got you. So we started speaking in Arabic. So I asked him his story. You know what his story was? He had a big family. His older brother was earning all the money for the family. He told his younger brother, go to America, start a job in business, and send money back to help the family. And he was a young man, and he traveled all the way to America to go help his family. He don't speak the language, which is English. He don't know nobody. He's just a Muslim. And he actually was brave enough to go do that journey. I highly respect that. Unknown world, rough circumstances, language barriers, everything. But Allah guided him to help, right? That's an African guy, young kid. Why we can't do that? For ours, he's going to do it for his people. And I guarantee you, may Allah give him tawfiq and all the assistance that we could do. Within a year from now, he might have his own business. He may have his own business, making good money, sending money back home to his family and his tribe. I give him at least a year to two before that probably is going to be the reality. What's wrong with us? Why we can't do it? And he's going to learn another language. And he's going to learn another language. Right now, his only means here is French, which it ain't that many people speak French, and Arabic. That's all he got. And he's in America. But watch what he turned that into. I have no doubt about it. As sure as my name is Amin, he gonna turn that thing around. I can almost guarantee it. I'm not saying I know the future, but I know the custom. Guarantee you. So it's doable. My point. It's doable. It's doable. But he's committed to his nation of people and his family. He's committed to that. He's willing to sacrifice. That's sacrifice. That's sacrifice. That's what I was talking about. We have to be like that. There's enough of us right now watching that we should never have a financial problem. Say, since I'm the teacher, say like Masjid Muhammad. And I put it up all the time. I'm not shy. Right? We should never have a financial problem with all the people that watch us. That shouldn't even be a thought. If we sacrifice just $5, $10, right? Regularly to our capacity. Some people could give $10 a day. Some people got it like that. Some people can give $5 a day. Every day they could do it. We would never have to ask for money. We could run all our programs, build our stuff, just with our online people, not talking about people who come to the masjid. If we were serious, we could fund students. We could do all the stuff we needed to do. We could build so much if we were committed to our people. Seriously. Easy. I'm going to tell you a story that we all know. Unfortunately, we all know the stories, but it is what it is. It's a lesson for us. Maybe we need to take it, right? So I say that let's keep sacrificing to build. Most of you have seen us, have been to the masjid. You know it's a real place. You know what we do. You've been to our programs. You know what we do. You should support your people. You know we in charge. You know it's us. Support it. And help it grow to be what? An example for other places. And you know how we help other communities that are just like us. You start building and building and building and building and building. I'm just giving you being for your people. So what are you going to sacrifice? Your wealth and yourselves. Yo, I got skills. What's needed? How can I help? Not for me, for us. What can I do? I'm serious. What can I do? You get a group of people like that, they're going to make changes immediately. I seen it. I see others do it all the time. Every community in this area started in Masjid Muhammad. The Egyptians, the Pakistanis, the Bengalis, all of them started in Masjid Muhammad. All of them, while they were in Masjid Muhammad, saved up their money as a people, built their own masjids, built their own stuff, left the blacks behind, and now are building, making political waves, business, doing everything, and they ain't looking back to these black folks at all. That's true. Every single one of them. I'm not speaking out of turn. This is real. And anyone who lives in Atlantic City, am I telling a falsehood? Anyone who lives here and been here, am I lying? And guess what? All of them are out of the city. All of the other blacks out. Not in leadership, not nothing. And we still won't support our own after someone showed us exactly how it's going. That's us. There's a problem. You might not like it, but it's real. That's real. I watched the last of them. They getting ready to build. They've been here for like 20 years. They got a new masjid. They cleared the land. They getting ready to build an expanded masjid. And we still to this day, and they were here with us, are still struggling to fix our building. They were here for us for 20 years. 20 years. And you know what they was doing for 20 years? Saving their money to get their own. You know what the Bengalis were doing? They built 2 masjids, saving their money to build their own. You know what the Egyptians were doing while they were here? Saving their money to build their own. And you know what the black people were doing? Destroying their own, fighting against their own. Go look. Listen, don't just take my word. Go look. Go observe. You don't think something's wrong with that thinking process? Everybody did it. I just named the Bengalis, the Pakistanis, the Egyptians. All of them did it. You didn't catch that yet? The Africans did it. Hey, I mean, everybody's doing it. The Africans built their own stuff off your back. And you stop doing what? Supporting yourself. It's frustrating. I honestly, I watch us, I really be like, come on, you can't be serious. The day will you fighting yourselves to watch someone else dominate you. That doesn't make any sense at all. But that's us. And guess what? We'll go to those places that they built and sit our butts down and shut our mouths and follow what they say. This is a fact. You sitting in the corner getting crumbs while you ain't raising your voice to that imam who ain't doing nothing for you, thinking about you nothing, but you on the sunnah. Negro, you done lost your damn mind. This is a problem. And listen, I always put myself, I know I'm on the sacrificial lamb, the guy, yeah, because I want to see a change. If I could die and my voice got somebody to get some guts, I'll be happy in dying like that. I would be happy to die like that. Would be a pleasure. I do not want my children to come up in this condition. No, absolutely not. No, not if I can do something about it. Nah, this is true. I'm watching it. I watch it every single day. Blacks had a masjid. They wasn't Sunni. Masjid catch a fire, nothing for them. They ain't rebuild nothing. Lose their building, nothing. No support. But they'll go, I'm going this way. What's wrong with you, Negroes? Really? Seriously? You can't be serious. Yeah, but you are. That's number 2. We have to fix that. And everyone is showing us what to do. We're watching. We're watching them. We're watching it. And I'm speaking of, like I said, I can speak about my own town because I live here. And everybody knows me. It's not like I'm somebody just, no. Everybody knows me, right? So they know what I'm talking about. This ain't something you just saying, oh, he's no, it's true. Yes, he's calling it a spade, dead on it. And if we didn't have black leadership in political office, we'd be out of that. But happen to have in Atlantic City, we have a strong black political leadership. So therefore, they haven't been able to break that bond between us. And I pray it remains like that. Because other than that, we out of that too. They'll take all the resources and leave blacks with nothing. This is true. It's sad. You wouldn't even think I'm talking about a Muslim. But yeah, I am. It's sad that I can actually say this. You would think I'm not talking about Muslims. No, that's how Muslims are acting. It's not right. It's not Islam at all. But it's real. It's real. It's real. Man, I'm telling you, it's bad. It's bad. They making moves all around us, and we sitting there doing nothing. They're making moves all around us without us for their interests. Sometimes I could be so critical because I see it. I just remain silent so people don't say, oh, Aki, astaghfirullah, why don't you have a good opinion, blah, blah, blah. Why don't they have a good opinion of us and stop treating us and dealing with us and undermining us like we second-class citizens? How about that? Why don't they love for their brother what they love for themselves like they want us to do? Why not? Why that can't be an issue? And I'm not speaking just about us, because I push that. And that's why I speak the way I speak, because whether you help me or not, we're going to do what we got to do. If you help, mashallah. If you don't, we still going to do what we got to do. So we're not going to be changing the tone depending on we might get a crumb. Nah, we ain't doing that. I'd rather not have it. I'd rather it be hard and then be sincere and honest and have some dignity when we build than to be a puppet and build something nice, but you really don't own anything. You don't even own your thoughts. You don't even own your thoughts. Someone else tell you what to think, even if it's against your best interests. So that number 2 issue, they've convinced us that it's haram to be black. Okay, there's no color in Islam. No worry about race or ethnicity. What the heck is that? You telling me that, and I don't even have nothing to stand on. Why don't you tell the one who's using that to move forward? You won't say nothing to the one who's using it to move forward. But for the one who's suffering from it, you tell him, don't speak about that. Astaghfirullah. It's no, brother, there's no racism in Islam, brother. There's no culture in Islam, brother. We're on Quran and Sunnah. Why don't you tell him that? The one who's using ethnicity and race and everything else to get ahead on the backs of our struggle. Tell him that. I remember we had an issue with the police, minorities and hiring and all that. I watched all them get together. Listen to this stuff. They got together. They didn't tell us nothing. These are Muslims. They got together. They made a coalition to go against the chief of police and fight against the mayor to include minorities. They want, so you think minorities, do you think they were talking about black people? No. Do you think they were talking about black Muslims? No. They were thinking about their own people and to have in their areas their people as police. They're not about the whole city. In our areas, we want our own police. But in the black areas, don't worry about them. Put Joe Bob from the suburbs in them. Don't care about them. But for us, hey, we need our own people. And they actually made a campaign for that. And then at the meeting that they didn't tell us about, I happened to come. They're like, oh, here comes the Imam. Imam, we're doing something for the Muslims. I said, man, you don't get out my face. Stop. You ain't doing nothing for no daggone Muslims. You're doing something for you. And you're using Islam only because I happen to be here and you know my voice and you know I'll say something. Now it's Muslims. It wasn't about Muslims. You didn't even consult us. What are you talking about? Because I'm known, I'll grab that microphone and go off. I will. I will. It's known about me. That's wrong. You didn't even consult us. You were planning, all y'all together, different masjids, y'all all together. Y'all never came to where there was black leadership to have a discussion about nothing. And only because we there, and we're politically strong, we're close to the council and the mayor, and now, okay. Here comes the black guy. Let's put on a show. Man, get out of here. Stop. That's true. It's a fact. And this ain't something I'm saying on the internet. And if you get to know me, I say it in your face. You know it. No. It's wrong. It's wrong. It's dead wrong. Totally against Islam. But it's normal. And guess whose fault that is? Ours, because we accept it. I'm going to that story. So that's number one. Are y'all following me? I know it sounds rough. I know it sounds hard, but somebody got to say it because it's all around the country. We're just quiet. It's happening all around the country. We're watching it. We see it. No respect. It's blacks. We in charge. Sit down. Do security and clean up. And make sure no blacks come in here and watch him. This is what's happening. How many of you have went in a masjid that is predominantly non-black, African-American, and when you went in there, you got to look like what you doing here? How many of you have experienced that? Just say I. I don't care where it's at. How many of you have felt it or actually experienced it or felt it and you didn't, maybe it wasn't happening, but you just got that feeling or it actually happened? The look of, maybe it was sometimes even the speech, the look like, what you doing here? What you want? Look at them. Be honest. We got a lot of people here. I want everyone who's felt that or even perceived it, just say I. And for look at this. Look at the eyes. So y'all ain't all from Atlantic City. So obviously this is a problem. Obviously this is a serious problem. And look at it. Look at all those eyes. It's a problem. That's not Islam. That's not Islam. That's not our religion. But that is, unfortunately, a dominant practice that we must change. We must change. And if we're not willing to change that, I don't know what kind of Islam we're following. And I don't know how we expect our children who are rebels to accept that stuff. So the solution is you got to start thinking as a nation of people. You don't have to hate nobody. You don't have to be against nobody, but you have to build so that you are respected. That's it. You have to build something collectively around the country, supporting your own institutions, building your own stuff so that you are equally respected. You don't think they study us? They do. They do. You don't think they're told, don't be like them? They do. That's why they get away from you as soon as they get a chance. They out. See you. Thank you. We build up our money. We straight. Assalamu alaikum. I don't even say assalamu alaikum to you, just ma salama. Gone. This is a problem. And if you don't like me saying it, stop doing it. If you don't like me saying it, stop doing it. How do you think it feels? You don't even like how it sounds. How do you think it feels when it's actually happening to you? You don't even like the sound. Why is he saying that? It's brother. How do you think it feels? You don't even like the sound of it. And it ain't even happening to you. How do you think that feels? And that's all around the country. And now put it in when I grew up, when I was coming up as a kid in Islam, in movements, we were a people of pride and love. And my mother-in-law used to say this to me all the time. She's like, y'all got all this knowledge, but y'all ain't doing nothing with it. We didn't have any knowledge, not much, and we built for our people. What y'all doing? Just chasing somebody else. She died, rahimahullah. But that's what she used to say to me all the time. Because she was a soldier in the 70s and the 60s, building communities in Newark, New Jersey. One of the strongest Sunni Muslim communities in Newark, New Jersey was my mother-in-law's community. They had halal restaurants, they had businesses, they had trucks, they had their own school, they had masjid, they had housing for people in the 70s, in the late 60s and 70s in Newark, New Jersey. We don't see that no more. Not one black community has all that stuff. Not one. That's what they had. Not one has that today. Not one. I lived it. I'm saying, I'm not speaking. Not one has that today. Because we've lost our whole concept of do for self. Gone. You've lost that concept. Number 3, I got to stop. This is long. And that is, I've covered that in 2. We need to sacrifice with our money, body, talents to learn our religion and build our nation. The sacrifice part. I can scream to the top of my lungs. I can tell you over. Until you're willing to do it, until you're willing to realize this is a problem and I'm the solution to my problem. I'm the solution to my problem. I have to do something. وَجَاهَدُوا بِأَمْوَالِهِمْ وَأَنفُسِهِمْ فِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ. They struggle with their wealth and their selves and the path of Allah. That's what I have to do. And I gotta want to build for my people more than I want to breathe. I have to have that feeling. And if we start thinking like that, you'll see a change. No, that's not what I said. I said it's going to be brief, long. That's what I said. See, black folks don't listen. Right now, I'm joking. I didn't say it was going to be brief. I said brief, long. And I qualified why it may be long. Ha, ha, ha. Got you back. All right. So that's our solution to the problem. Now, people ask solutions. There are solutions. Number one, we got to get this knowledge. And we got to get it from us. We have to get this knowledge, and we got to take it from us. So no more having to go over, having to go overseas to learn when someone already did that. Well, I'm repeating the wheel. He's right here. Let me help, build, teach us. Everything you learned, we're going to have it. That's what they did in Africa. They ain't go over. When they went to Africa, when they went to Egypt and all these other places, they was already scholars. A lot of them already knew Arabic, already read those books. They just going for papers and maybe some additional refining for something they didn't have. We need to do the same thing. Right? We need to do the same thing. So you got all these people that studied and went overseas for all these years. We need to learn from them. Until they exhausted and they don't have anything, that's where I'm going to get my knowledge from. If they don't have something, then I'll look outside. But first and foremost, I need that from my people. And I'm going to stick with that. Not opposing no one else. If we can work jointly together, fine. But we're never going to be, my people sit down and I'm going to just go take it from someone else when my people have the same product. I'm not doing that. No. And we have to have that commitment. Do y'all agree with me? Y'all follow my point? Am I clear? I'm not on this point. If my people have a product, I'm not going to just leave off my people for the same product from someone else at the expense of my people. I'm not going to do that. That's a commitment. So I ain't gonna be talking about something I want to learn from the sheikh. You are the sheikh. I don't need to learn from him. If it's something you don't have, then of course we're gonna go get it and bring it back, and now we got it. And we'll cooperate with others, but we're not going to be subservient to nobody, period. That's that aspect. There has to be a commitment from us. If we're talking about building anything and changing what we're talking about, that dynamic that we complaining about, you want to change and start doing that. Watch how different it look. The nation thing is institution building, even if we start with one place at a time. I volunteer in Masjid Muhammad because we do control it, right? Let's build this institution together. Let's make this a vibrant institution ran by African-American Muslims. One among many, since every day you benefit from us, every day you come, you weekly, I need your help. Help me do what I'm talking about. Let's make this place and expand it, because I have all the resources here. Everything we need, I have in Atlantic City. Whatever we need in terms of resources, political, economic, whatever we need, all I need is your support. That's it. If we can get your support and I can lead that charge, we'll make an example here among many. And then from here, we'll go help the others. We got to start somewhere. We'll go help the other communities because we did it. And we have a whole way of building, but I need your help. I can't do it by myself. I'm at work, but I need your help. We do. We have to be honest. We need each other. I would say this, Sora CD, I feel the same way. Unfortunately, my people should be all Muslims, and I agree. Unfortunately, it don't work that way. And so just go listen to the whole thing and then look at the experience, and then why don't you be like that, right? Yourself. And help us change so we don't have to say my people and we're not talking about all Muslims at all circumstances. Help us change that. To go listen to what I said, go listen to everything. Don't take it offensive. Don't feel, and just listen to the whole thing and listen to the reality. And even if you want to fact check, go fact check. You can use Masjid Muhammad as an example. I'll take you around if you want to come visit and see and go look, and I will take you around. I'm a bold dude. I'll go meet the people with you and show you what I'm talking about. I'm not just the internet guy who just talked. I actually live what I'm talking about. I can take you and show you on the ground. And I guarantee you, if you are a sincere person, you will apologize for that statement. You will say, I'm sorry. You will say, I'm sorry, Imam. I didn't mean that. I didn't understand. I guarantee you, if you're sincere, you will say, I'm sorry, Imam. I'm sorry for, you know, this situation. It's wrong. So I'm saying that because I'm not saying others don't. I'm speaking because you're here with me. So I'm talking to you with me, right? So that's the nation thing, because I know we can do it. It's just the sacrifice. Now, let me tell you a story to show you how it works. You know, I come from the projects, right? And I remember, and I'm only telling you this story for an analogy. Maybe I'll just tell the story in a way so it's not revealing people's past transgressions. So I'll tell you a story based on what they say, based on true events, but the characters have changed. Is that what they do? And I'll close with it. You know, I come from the projects. And in the projects, all around the different projects, people were poor. Mom's on welfare, no dads in the house. If the people come in and see a man in the house, they're gonna you lose your housing and all that crap, you know, which is all around the country. You've seen it. So the way that many people got out of that situation, unfortunately, was through selling drugs. That's how they got money. It's all around the country. A lot, unfortunately. But in those neighborhoods, you would find people taking care of their neighborhood. The people in the neighborhood, they would have some guy who was getting the most money. He'd be the man in that neighborhood, and they all support him, and then they build their little empire, and it be in that neighborhood. And then sometimes you have different neighborhoods all around the area in a city. And then the big guys of those neighborhoods sometimes would see that fighting each other ain't working because we losing money. So they would work together. Like, listen, we ain't gonna keep fighting each other. We gonna work together. They would work together, and then when they was working by themselves, each of them was struggling to do it. When they started working together, they noticed they could get the prices down. So they could go to others and get their product at a lower price because they were collectively having their money together. As long as we don't cross each other, we could get, because they milking all of us. These prices are outrageous. But they got you separate, they got me separate, they got him separate. Man, we all trying to do the same thing. Let's come together, get those prices down. And they would do that. And then you would notice that they start to come up. But what they would never do, none of them, was let the ones who they was getting their products from come in their neighborhood and take over. That was never happening. No. Not happening. And they built like that. And what happened was that spirit of cooperation allowed them to build so that some of them came up out of that situation. Right? And some of them flipped it into, to this day, and around the country, some of them flip it into record labels, businesses, real estate, and they ain't doing none of that stuff, and they billionaires now, millionaires. It all started in the hood like that. Many of them. And they're black and they're powerful. And now some of them got studios, some of them got movie things. They got all kinds of stuff going on. Right? And they all started just like I'm talking about. And that was with unlawful stuff. What can we do with lawful stuff? That's haram, what they built. What about halal? It's the same skill set, the same quality, the same mindset, but it's for halal. It's for lawful. It's in compliance with the sacred law. Do y'all get the analogy? You follow the analogy? It's the same concept. It's just you're not doing haram. You're doing halal. Do y'all follow me? It's the same concept. But it takes the same thing that it took to do that. Same concept. And then you just expand. You start in your city, you go to throughout your state, then to another state, then to another state, then to another, throughout the whole country. Same concept, same stuff. Just your product is Islam and building nation building. It's no unlawful things. It's all good stuff, wholesome stuff. That's your product now. But the same concepts that you use to build and empower are the same concepts you need. You just can't do unlawful stuff. And the lawful is way more abundant than the unlawful. The lawful, and that's why they flipped. They were like, dang, if I would have known this. Nah, you had to do that to get there, because they would have never allowed you in the door as a poor man. You had to build up to get in the door. Do y'all understand that? The guy would have never gave you them prices by yourself. You had to build a nation and an army, and then you got those prices. The record label would have never let you in if you didn't already build the stuff on the ground first. They wouldn't have paid you no daggone attention. But you had to do those mixtapes, bro. You had to go trick them to get it in the places. You had to go to the bootleggers and get them to sell your stuff. You had to get that stuff. They wasn't playing you on the radio. And now when you built that, boom, oh, we could get that. Now your job is don't let them take it from you, but that's how you got there. That same work, that's what you have to do. We know how to do it. Do you understand my point? That's what we have to do. That's a solution. And I'm telling you, when you do it, they might not like you, but they will respect you or fear you, whatever one. I don't give a which one you use. Prefer to respect, but if you don't get it through that, then fear. I don't care. Just you maintain, you get out our way, and you give us what we deserve. That's how it works. It's simple, not hard. You got to believe in yourself, though. We're doing it now on the Black Imams Roundtable. That's why we talk the way we talk, because y'all with us. We ain't worried about getting canceled. That ain't even on my mind. That ain't on Imam Naeem's mind. Imam Fine. We're not worrying about getting canceled. We black. We already been canceled. What are you talking about? They might cancel you. Who? Cancel what? They ain't doing nothing for us anyway. What are you talking about? And if you get enough of us thinking for ourselves and loving each other enough, there are good people that say, I ain't from you, but I know you're a good person and I understand the problem. Let me help you get past that so we can work on a bigger picture of the ummah. I agree. Let's do that. I understand what you're talking about. I'm not afflicted with it, and I'm not like that. And let me show you I'm not like that. I'm not going to sit on the sideline and watch when I know you're right. And I see it. I see it in my own community when it comes to your people. I see it. I'm not putting a blinder on it, act like it don't exist. I see it. I see the disparity. I'm telling you the ummah, but the ummah ain't looking at you. I see it. I see we got $1 million in our savings and you still struggling to do that, but we talking about the ummah. Really? I see we have all access and resources, but I know y'all don't have all those access, but I'm talking about the ummah, but I ain't sharing those resources. I'm comfortable, and I see y'all struggle, but I'm not saying nothing. So there are some people who are not like that. And those people you want to cooperate with. Those people you want to help build so that we can see this ideal ummah that we know can exist, that we want to see exist, and we bring it into existence. Right? See, you can't tell me this stuff because I know. I could go right now to 2 communities, immigrant communities, predominantly immigrants, that can change the condition of 10 black masjids. 2, without even breaking a sweat, and they don't do it. I know 2, I know more, but I'm just saying I could name 2 quick, that have the resources to take care of 10 inner city black masjids without blinking. It won't even be 10% of their budget, but they don't do it. 10% of their budget, it won't even be 10, could take care of 10 inner city black masajid, but they don't do it. I know myself. So, and that's savings. That's savings. I'm not talking, and I could get real funny. That's zakat money. That's zakat money. That ain't even money that's budget. That's zakat money that could do that. And I ain't talking about the other money. I'm talking about zakat money. No. It shouldn't be no strings attached. Nothing to talk about. I'm saying is available. But they don't do it. They don't. So take that fair message you're trying to tell me, take it to those people. I'm not saying that it's their responsibility from our side. No, it's our responsibility. From the sacred law, that's your responsibility, if you want to talk about Islam. But despite that, that should be a motivation factor for you to do for yourself. That should be a motivating factor for you to do for yourself. So, because when you do for yourself, people are going to tell you that stuff. Hey, you can't think about your people. You got to think about the ummah. Okay. Well, if I don't think about my people, who's going to do it? Definitely not them. They're not. I'm saying, I wish black imams, enough of us, would really tell our stories. Like, seriously, if you see the condition of the black community, the black Muslim community, especially in the inner cities, la hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. You heard Imam Fahim last night? He said sometimes it feel like it ain't worth it. That's pain. I don't know if you listen to that. That's pain. That is pain. That's frustration. That's being tired. That's stress. And trust me, he ain't the only one talking like that. He just had the guts to say it. Even the affluent, quote unquote, imams in the black community feel that. They feel it. It's a rough job. All right, so I want to say this again, just for my own comfort. Yesterday, when we talked about our feeling about the funeral, we were talking about this, nothing about the imam or his family, or it was nothing about, or the community. We were talking about this issue, right? And I hope that came across, that we didn't sound insensitive or criticizing that, because that's not what we were talking about, and definitely not what we intended. I mean, all of you, did that come across clear though? Because it's something that concerned me. Because sometimes when we're talking, it you know, you might not see all of the stuff, right? So I hope that that part came across, that we were definitely in no way intending to be insensitive. We were just addressing serious concerns that we have. All right, so listen, help us do this work. I put it up. I know some of you already help, but we need more. Because we need a lot of work to do, right? And we need to really, 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 really. We need to fund all these things. Seriously. It costs money. We in America. We're not going to do all the work that we need to do without adequate funding. And that funding should come from us. We should support our initiatives. We must support our initiatives. I'm tired of watching our youth be fascinated by others and disappointed at us because we don't do for ourselves. So help, inshallah. Let me take this last question. Who do you consider the Black American teachers? Are there too many to name? And we do that at the Black African American Summit, which I want to do again, but that's very expensive to do that. And it takes a lot of logistics, a lot of support. It's a lot. And I'm still trying to see if we could pull something like that off, but I'm not 100% sure. I think we might need to scale it down to make it successful. But, you know, that's something. And we bring teachers together. So if you follow us all this year, we're going to bring, inshallah, those teachers together. But it takes all of us, seriously. I'm telling you, the biggest problem with bringing teachers, they're not going to get paid. They're not going to say that to you, but that's reality. Because they have families, they have communities. They need to get paid. They can't just travel all around for free. It doesn't work. I know we would like it, but it don't work. It's not sustainable. They might do it once, but they're not doing that when they got all these bills, they got all these things, they got the same problems as everybody else in our communities, and you telling them, yeah, man, forget all that, just come teach me for free. It's not going to happen. Forget about it. And let me ask any of you, you got a job, any of y'all going to work for free? I mean, all of you have jobs or businesses. Are any of you going to keep working for free? Any of you? Who's just going to go to Mr. Charlie's or wherever you go for free? You work at the education. Kids need to learn. Kids need to be educated. You're going to go teach for free every day? Put in the required hours for free? Who's going to do that? So why you ask the teachers and the imams to do that? You don't do it. Where's the fairness? You and get angry with them if they don't do it. And you get angry with them if they don't do it. Do you realize to build a society, there's all different aspects? You have to help. That's your job. You have the imams you have, and you have the teachers here. Support the institutions you already know, and things will be added. That makes it easy for you. I know you have questions because I like that. You have imams right now. I teach every day. Support us. I teach every day. I teach books. I bring teachers all the time. Support that. All of us. Make that so successful that we never have to ask for nobody for nothing. And then watch me add to it. Okay? Just support those teachers right now. And we'll bring the other teachers. Give us the resources that we can go get those other teachers you're looking for. We know them already. Support what we're doing, and we'll bring them. There are more out there. You just don't know them. Support us, and we'll bring them. And then you'll say, oh, I see what you're talking about. Trust us enough that we'll do the job. I'll give you an example. And maybe I shouldn't, but I will. There is a teacher. I know him. He's not black. This guy gets the support from his people, and he goes all around the world and brings teachers. He funds them from the help his people give him. He's opened institutions all around the world with teachers that he knew as he was learning, but he didn't have resources. When his people supported him, he spends millions of dollars around the world building. Millions. I know him. And he has all kinds, everything I just talked about, he doing. But his people, and if you go look, it ain't a black face in sight. All the teachers, none of them black. Ain't a black face in sight. And there's a bunch of them. Books, knowledge, sciences, everything. Ain't a black face in sight. But they support him. I know him personally. He's right in my phone. I could call him right now. He'll answer. Hey, you want to work? Nah, joking. Nah, I ain't working for you. Sorry, bro. I love you, but I ain't doing that. I got to take care of my people. No, watch. And some of us are supporting them and neglecting us. I'm not saying don't support. I think it's a great thing, but it don't work for us. So I'm just saying we have to learn to build for ourselves. And we'll see it. Trust me. If I ever had a budget like him, may Allah give it. I do for that. I don't want nothing for. Listen, I don't care about this stuff. I want to see what we talking about. If I had a budget like that, may Allah give it. Half of a budget like that. I know what we could do. Subhanallah. Because we got some talented people, but we can't support them. And I know that. I know firsthand because I know them. We all studied overseas together. But everybody got different. I can do what I do because I am supported. I am supported. So I can do a little bit more than some of the others. But to expand, to really do what we need to do around the country, ooh, man, we ain't nowhere near close of the support we need. So I encourage you to do that so we can get this job done. I encourage you. And listen, somebody's going to listen. Somebody's going to be that support base. You just got to say it. Some people don't even know you need their support. Right? So you got to close mouth, don't get fed. Shy guys go hungry. The squeaky wheel get the oil. You know how it works. All of those sayings, slick sayings we got. Yeah, we have to do it. If we're serious, they do it. They don't have no problem. They'll be in the masjid fundraising for their events in your masjid. Got their little pad. They have the event during Ramadan. We having an iftar in your masjid. And the iftar, they're going to their people, writing it on their notebooks. You give 300, you give 500. They done raised $10,000 and then didn't even give you 300 in your masjid. I've seen it all, bro. No, there's always some stuff you didn't see, but I've seen it. I know how this stuff go. And then next thing you know, a couple years, they building a new masjid. You're like, how the heck that happened? That was you helping them. They did it off your back. You don't know how that happened. You wasn't watching. What the heck was you looking at? Oh, you was too busy, happy to be in the crowd, right? All right, let me stop. May Allah reward us all. May we do better. May we work hard. And, you know, I wouldn't be saying it if I didn't think it was needed to be said. And I hope, whether I'm here to do it or someone else, that voice remains. Malcolm X was saying the same stuff. Go read his books. Go listen to his speeches. He's saying the same thing in the 60s. Here we are, 2024, singing the same song. And we have to. Go listen to Malcolm X's, go read his books, go listen to his lectures. He was saying the same thing. Same exact thing. Same stuff, nothing different. It's 2024. We're still saying the same stuff. Can we do something different, please? So we don't have to say it in 2050. Barakallahu bikum wa sallallahu ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. May Allah reward you all. Barakallahu bikum. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.